right, miss.
No.
Hide your face because you
I'm
know
Carole
what you're doing
Davis,
is wrong.
reporting live in New York City for World Animal News.
Shame on you!
Against forced carriage cruelty.
Yes, where's the camera?
A lot of
There's more
activists
than
have
4
come here
people on that
today
carriage.
to try and
Can somebody
stop
please
people
say
from
that?
getting on
There's
the
more than 4
carriages.
people
I'm
on
going to
that
find
carriage.
the organizer right
Hello?
here. Right
There's
here.
more
I'm
than
gonna
4
find the
people.
organizer.
More than 4
Here's the
people.
organizer of this
Hi.
protest. Can you please tell us today why you're here and what this is all about?
Hi there. I'm one of many organizers in this group. We're working together as collaborators. So my name is Jill Carnegie, and we've just started to renew the activism to ban the horse carriage industry, but this time we're going right to where business is happening instead of trying to go the legislative route. So we're educating the public, we're disrupting business, and we're not going to make it comfortable to exploit these animals.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
I've been following what you've been doing for a long time, and I'm a great admirer of your activism.
Thank you. I'm an admirer of yours as well.
But for World Animal News, can you please tell our audience what happened with Mayor de Blasio? He said he was going to ban this. He hasn't. Can you please explain to our audience what is going on?
Well, if I could explain that detail by detail, then we would know what to do next exactly with him. But unfortunately, basically what's happening is that a compromise bill was introduced. Depending on who you ask, there were multiple issues with the bill in the first place, but it was seeking to get the horse carriages in the park only. However, that bill fell apart for multiple reasons. And besides, it was a compromise. We want a ban. We want this industry out of our city. So at this point, the Teamsters pulled out at the 11th hour before the council could vote on that bill, that compromise bill. So right now, de Blasio is not touching the issue. So until he's ready to pick it back up, or maybe our next incoming mayor, then we'll go from there.
What is it that you think that you need to move this movement forward to ban horse carriages in New York City? What is most needed now?
Right now, what is needed is for people who don't live in New York to spread the word, because the only reason why this is here is because visitors, tourists pay for it. New Yorkers don't take these rides. So if we could spread the word to everyone when they come to our amazing progressive city, take a pedicab instead. They give amazing tours of the park. Take a bike tour, take a walking tour, or just take a stroll.
Can you also tell the audience who might not be within the animal rights movement, can you tell them what is cool about this type of activity? What are the horses feeling? What's been going on? How many have been injured? What's the real deal here?
Right. Well, there have been over 100 accidents involving the horse carriages in New York City. There have been at least 23 horse deaths. Now, this is only what's been reported, and more than half of these have been reported just in the last 10 years because the public is getting more aware. So what is so cruel about this? Well, if we just look at these horses, they're standing on concrete.
Let's come around and show the horses so you can explain.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking a picture.
Actually, let's come over to this horse.
Let's come over to this horse.
Good job.
Pedicab.
That's a bad job. They
Show
made
the
the wrong
activists.
choice.
Show
They
the
made the wrong
activists.
choice. You guys did the
All
right
these
thing.
activists here.
Yay!
Now we're going to talk about what's going on with this horse.
Yeah, so
Explain.
First of all, if we look at this carriage, this is 900 pounds empty. Empty. This carriage is 900 pounds. Now, if we look at the horse itself, you can see this. If you look at the horse itself, we see that, or himself, herself, we see these heavy harnesses and these straps. The straps rub uncomfortably on the body here. We've seen sores, documented sores. Also, most notably, the horses have metal bits in their mouths. And these metal bits are not made to be worn for the 9+ hours a day that these horses wear these metal bits. And many horse trainers now are not using metal bits at all anymore. And especially when they're eating like this, they should not be wearing a metal bit in their mouth. It's extremely unpleasant. Lastly, if you look down at the hooves, they're here on concrete for 9+ hours a day. They're made to be standing on softer ground. Standing on concrete like this causes concussive injuries and lameness in horses. So those are just a few of the items right here in front of you.
Tell me about the weather issues too.
We can step away from the horse for this so he doesn't
Tell
feel
us
crowded.
about the weather issues and how hot concrete gets in the summer.
Oh,
When
yes.
it's 90 degrees in New York, which happens a lot during the summer, how hot does the concrete get?
Oh, well over 100 degrees. This is a lot of open sky over this street. I realize that today in the winter time the sun goes lower faster, but in the summertime the sun is beating down. The concrete gets well over 100 degrees in the summer. And also the temperature doesn't factor in humidity. It doesn't factor in heat index. And it's also based on the city thermometer. The city thermometer might not be exposed to sunlight, but the horses are. So it's also inaccurate.
I've also seen these drivers taking horses out on days where we would not want to go out in the winter time. And I know that you've been following all the violations and that you come out and watch this. And have you seen a lot of these drivers taking out these horses in storms and snow and sleet?
Oh yes, absolutely. Just yesterday, I was out here. Just yesterday, I was out here, and it was slick roads, which is extremely dangerous for cars, which are inches away from these carriages, and it's dangerous for the carriages. So they're not supposed to be operating on slick roads, but no one enforces this.
Why do you think that the police department is not enforcing the laws that are on the book, not the regs that are on the book regarding this?
There's multiple reasons. First of all, right now the regulations live in the Department of Health, which can make it a lot more complicated to enforce. Secondly, these drivers violate so regularly that they would literally need to station a police officer here the entire time they're in operation. I mean, if you stand on the corner here, you'll get illegal U-turns. You'll get,
this is a violation.
Yeah, this is a violation right here.
Blocking a fire hydrant.
Blocking a fire hydrant, and the pigeons in the feed is a sanitation issue.
Look, the pigeons are inside the feed. Fecal matter that this horse has to eat.
We wouldn't be here on our day off.
And there's something else that I've seen also with your activities here protecting these horses in New York City, and that is I've seen you catch drivers who were not the people who had the licenses.
Oh, yes.
And that was shocking to me to see that. So the drivers just hand over their business to someone else and pay them minimum. How does that work?
Well,
what's going on there? Is that a labor abuse?
Well, that's definitely a labor issue. But what we have seen and documented, we have film of this, are either drivers operating a carriage where the license that is displayed for the public is obviously not the driver. Either you can tell just because of their general appearance, or you can tell because the name does not match the nationality of the person who's operating the carriage. Or we've seen expired licenses, and we've had drivers actually conceal their licenses from public view, which is a violation.
Good for you for doing this. Thank you so much for talking to World Animal News.
Thank you so much for covering. Thank you.
This is Carole Davis signing off live in New York City for World Animal News.